hang on. We're coming on. No hot mics, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, there we are. All right, guys, we are back after a what, like 3 week hiatus,
Three
Justin,
week break.
something like that. Yeah, man, we've night shift's been hitting us pretty hard, and yeah, we've been working nights. Seems like every the last 3 weeks. I think we got one more this week, so we will not be at the Miller Cal Allen game or any other games that Rio Sports is doing this week. We'll be at work, but you should see us back next week, right?
Hopefully, right?
Maybe I think so, right? So yeah,
Close.
uh, your wait will be over. We will be back today. We've got a guy on the show that we've been following the last 3 years and haven't really had a chance to get him on the show yet. Uh, Most of you guys know him by just by seeing him on the camera here. Carter Senterfitt, quarterback for the number 10 ranked Corpus Christi veteran Memorial Eagles. How you doing, Carter?
Doing good.
That's a new ranking, huh? That was y'all didn't start off at number 10 this year, did y'all?
No, I don't think so. I really don't know. We started off actually.
That's in 5AD1, correct, Jake?
Yeah, I think they started 16. They were in the top 20, I want to say, before everybody started playing and stuff. But yeah, and I guess it's the first time in program history to be ranked in the top 10 in football in any categorization, 5A or 4A or whatnot. So congratulations, guys. I know it's well deserving. We've seen a couple of y'all's games this year already, and minus a little bit of rust that first game against Miller, y'all really hadn't missed a beat considering you guys had a late start and just being behind the power curve with everything.
Yeah. I mean, going in, we had a lot of guys with talent. We thought it was just about kind of getting the offense flowing again. So there were a lot of new guys, but once I started getting the hang of it, I knew we had a chance to be a pretty good offense.
There's a lot of new starters this year, correct? On this team?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of young guys on the line, a couple new receivers coming in and out.
I think that was my concern. My concern when we talked like preseason was just the fact y'all lost a lot of talent across the board. Obviously the Miller game was the first game we got to see y'all live, and I told Jake I was pretty impressed after the second half. That was more of what I expected, but probably like 2 or 3 weeks in to the season on how y'all started clicking, and you really took over in that second half of that game. And that's kind of what I had mentioned prior, to people listening. That was my take, or general take on you, was what we saw more of that second half in the Miller game. So, I'm a little surprised though by that 10 ranking. I was expecting y'all to be ranked last year. Actually, I'm surprised y'all weren't.
Yeah,
I
there
lost
was.
it. Good.
Go ahead, Carter. I'm sorry.
No, I was my connection was spotty for a second. Go ahead.
So let's take a few steps back. All right. So let's talk about your career at Veterans. All right. You didn't start off as a quarterback. When you came up to varsity, David Soto was the quarterback, correct? And you're playing wideout. I think we're losing him.
Yeah,
Okay.
my freshman and sophomore year, he was there quarterback.
So what was that like playing behind him? We talked about David a lot when we first started this show. I mean, he was kind of your athlete, not really a true quarterback, but kind of a utility player, essentially taking snaps, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Playing behind him, what was your biggest takeaway from playing behind a guy like that?
Well, actually, we had at the time, my freshman, sophomore, and even junior year, we had two pretty good quarterbacks. We had Joseph Gonzalez, who was in there too. He was probably a better quarterback. He could throw the ball really well. I learned a lot of things from him. Learned a lot about the game of football in general, but from David, just the way he played. He was fast. He was a good runner. And he could throw the ball a little bit too. So yeah, it was kind of a mix of both. Just running the specific offense we run. I learned a lot from those guys.
there was more running in that offense, correct? Versus now, where y'all seem to be doing a lot more
I think a lot more.
RPOs and slants, correct? They utilize your arm a lot more, is what it looks like, compared to when David was there. Seemed like when David was there, they would throw a little bit, but it was more quarterback draw left, quarterback draw right, sweep, and then occasional throw here and there. But there was a second quarterback. The name you said didn't ring a bell. I thought there was a second quarterback that was actually pushing for that role, and David was going to be more of the utility. And as we went on to that first year, Jake, we were like, okay, they pretty much just scrapped that in general and just let David run the ball. Do you remember that name?
I think it was Joseph. Yeah.
Joseph? Okay.
Yeah, it was him. And I remember the big beef was he, it was with us. What we saw was they used David a lot to come in late in the games. And he kind of willed you guys to over the top on some of those plays. And that was our big concern. When he left, it was like, okay, who's going to fill this role? Who's going to be the it guy? Right. And we heard, I used to work with Dalen's uncles, and he was like, hey, watch out for this sophomore kid that's coming up. He's going to be something else. And
I'd like to point out the fact I called that after the Todd Dodge camp his sophomore year. That was my front runner for who I thought would be the starting QB after seeing him at that camp, because the other name was the predominant favorite, just from what we heard.
Right.
That was
Joseph,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's the one that stepped in last year and did spot roll when you went down against Bluff, correct?
Yeah, he's a talented quarterback. He could sling the ball.
And he did very well when you guys were gone. So last year was essentially your first year as a starter. And when you came in, it's like you'd been there before already, right? The game didn't seem any faster to you. You didn't look uncomfortable back there in the pocket. Spud, what was the first game that we saw? Was it the opening game that we saw Vets play last year?
First game we saw Vets play last year was
Flower Bluff.
Maybe Bluff, but
it was the Bluff at Cap. I think it was the Bluff at Cabinets.
Maybe it was, but I felt like we'd already seen Carter play before that.
Because you got hurt that game, right? Didn't you get hurt against the Bluff?
Yeah.
So that's the one that we saw. That's the first one we went to last year, and that's essentially the first time we got eyes on you as a quarterback. And
for a drive.
Yeah, and of course, you think you're breaking a new quarterback, you're going to stick to the run a lot. No, man, y'all came out firing. And unfortunately, you left that game with a high ankle sprain, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which
Crawl was the big receiver for him at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because they had dumped Dead Couch, Churchill, and King. Bluff was the first time we saw him, and we saw him again in the Miller game, and we saw him again in the Miller game, and then we saw him in Wagner. So we saw him 4 times last year live. Well, I didn't see Wagner live. I had to watch it on TV, but still.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like we knew more about you before the Flower Bluff game last year for some reason.
No, I think it was just, what we'd heard and what we'd seen, just the stat lines and stuff like that. For you, coming in that way and having, like you said, kind of having to fill in your shoes from some pretty big shoes, what was your initial thought?
I mean, I've been playing quarterback for a long time, ever since I was little. So, and I mean, I played quarterback my freshman year in 7th and 8th grade. I worked with Coach Schemper, so I knew the offense really well. So I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, I knew I could take over the role and do a good job at it. So I think it's just all about learning how to work around the offense, kind of the ins and outs of it. A lot of decision making. It's not really easy to play quarterback at Veterans.
What do you have? A lot of RPOs?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of RPO. I mean, starting to work in. I mean, we have the guys, the receivers, to work in different kinds of routes now.
We noticed that y'all, compared to last year, y'all like to come up to the line, get set, and then stop and look back for an audible, or y'all looking back for a play? I was just curious for my own.
Oh, we're just looking back for a play. I mean,
just looking back for the play.
Yeah,
is that so y'all can get set up in a formation and then just kind of see what the defense is lining up in, and they throw a play in there for y'all?
Yeah, I mean,
based on
it's
what they line up at.
just like any hard count, like how any team would do, and there's different reasons for it. Like we'll see if we get the defense to jump sometimes, or maybe we're just kind of seeing what they're doing.
I kind of like that. You don't see that in high school a lot. Like teams go to the line and do a hard count and then look back for the play, and that's a lot of effort too, because you always have dudes that could jump, but that is not an easy offense to run.
You know, going back, so that was going to be my question, right? So going back to what you said, you said it's not easy to play quarterback there at Veterans now. So there's one reason, right? So what else is on the learning curve there to step in at quarterback?
I mean, I think another part of it is for the 5 years our school's been open, we've had good quarterbacks all the way out there. So I mean, it's kind of it's a standard to be a good quarterback, control the offense, make things happen to veterans.
What was that quarterback battle like last year going into your junior year, not knowing if you were going to be the man against a really good quarterback like Joseph?
I mean, throughout my sophomore year, I knew it would eventually come to it. Dave was going to leave. It was going to be between me and Joseph. But throughout the offseason of my sophomore year, I think I worked really hard, and I think I won the position. I mean, I figured out our offense, how to play the quarterback at the varsity level, that type of stuff. So going into my junior year, I think I won the battle, and I showed it throughout the beginning stages of practices.
What about camps? Do you attend any camps in like your off seasons? Quarterback camps, not just showcasing to colleges, but like George Whitfield has his camp, and I think Kyler Murray's dad runs a camp out of Dallas. Do you attend anything like that to kind of hone those skills?
I didn't do a whole lot of training with quarterback coaches. A lot of it was kind of by myself, just working on things I thought I needed to work on. I mean, yeah, and then there's camps where I just kind of picked up things here and there from different coaches, just getting feedback. I didn't do a whole lot of traveling, going to camps to specifically hone my craft necessarily.
Well, you come from a very athletic family, right? Um, your dad, and I your dad didn't even know I was gonna bring him up. So your dad's a big runner. Uh, Played football at Texas Tech. Played football at the Merchant Marine Academy. You've got an older brother who's gone through SEAL training, and then you've got a younger brother who's a swimmer,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, you guys are, and I guess what does your mom do? I know your dad's a marathon runner. He ran the Boston Marathon a few years ago. Your mom, is she a triathlete? I mean, what does she do? What does she do?
My mom was a really good athlete back in the day in high school, but she's a nurse now. She's actually a psychiatric nurse. I don't even know the exact title of it, but yeah, she's been going to school for a while, and she's really good at what she does though. I mean, I don't know if you call it a psychologist or nurse practitioner is what she is.
Okay.
Psychology field. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty good.
So
I was gonna ask, hang on. I was gonna ask. I saw your little brother last year at the Flower Bluff game. He looks pretty athletic. Does he play football as well?
He's never been a big football player. He's always been really good at gymnastics. Like he can do all the flipping stuff. He's acrobatic. He's a really good swimmer.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean he's never really been into kind of the team football, baseball, basketball type sports.
More individual. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of, a lot of folks may not know you are a multi-sport athlete. You're a big baseball player as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. There's so many baseball teams to follow around here, and forgive me, and Spud probably knows, but what do you play in baseball? You're third baseman.
I play outfield.
Okay, you play outfield, center field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Any future in baseball?
I mean, I probably haven't given as much thought as I've given to football, but I mean, I'd like to keep my options open.
Is football one of your I mean, I don't want to take anything off the table for you, but is football kind of what you want to pursue moving into
Yeah,
the
I'd say
stage?
football I probably have always taken the most serious.
Well, I mean, you got the build for, that next level of football, regardless if it's, Texas State or if it's a big school like UT. I mean, you're not a runt, and that leads me to my next question. When did you hit the the growth spurt? Because you're what, about 6'3", 205 at least?
Yeah, I'm like 6'3", 200 pounds in that area, or 190, 200.
Did you hit that growth spurt before high school or kind of right in mid stride?
I mean, I've always been kind of tall up in like throughout middle school and high school, but I really started growing probably my freshman to sophomore year. I started getting more height. In my sophomore and junior year, I started putting on a little more weight. So yeah, I'd say in between my sophomore year to the end of my junior year is when I did my most growing.
See, that makes the most sense because when we saw him last year, he didn't, a lot of kids get that size and they get real, what is it, cumbersome or they're
Like a
just not,
like a baby deer.
they're just not into that body, right? I mean, they're tall and big, but if you look at them athletically, they're all over the place. We didn't see that from you at all last year, so it leads me to believe you'd been, again, last year in the off season was the first year we would see you, and I saw you in that camp, and I thought to myself, wow, he's for a build like that down here. Obviously, it's already rare, and then on top of that, to be able to athletically fit into that mold is even rarer. So I was just curious when that growth spurt hit because you were only probably what 15, 16 when we saw him in camp, right?
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere around there, right?
Thanks.
What's the difference in this team versus last year's team? Just with everything going on this year and then losing players and then not even knowing if you're gonna have a season. What's that been like?
I think the best part about this year's team is their coachability and maturity as a team wise. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have a whole lot of problems this year with anything between players. Like everyone on the team is pretty close. We don't really have, I mean, inter-team issues. Everyone's willing to be coached. Not something like, I mean, for any team I've probably ever been on in my sports career ever, this is probably the most coachable team.
Most coachable team. The Della Pena Cameron, he came on for me. Of course, you were with him every day. When he busted out in that second Miller game last year, and then obviously in this first one we saw y'all, he came out and pretty much picked up where he left off. It's had he started breaking out in last year, or was that Miller playoff game his like coming out party?
Oh no, I think he was doing well the entire year last year. Yeah, he's a talented dude.
See, he was so off my radar when we went into that playoff game, and when he just started, I was expecting Crawl to have the big game like he did round one, the first matchup, and then De La Pena came out and just blew the doors off everybody, and that was surprising to me, I guess, because I don't know, maybe you get lost in other stuff, but he picked up right where he left off. Did y'all have any type of off-season workouts y'all were able to get in, even with COVID and whatnot?
Yeah, we would go to the field every once in a while and we'd throw just to kind of get the feel for it. So they get the feel for me and I get the feel for them. Yeah.
Yeah, because your timing's pretty spot on with De La Pena for sure.
Yeah, we went a lot.
Yeah, I think that was their little secret they had, Spud. To kind of piggyback on that is, I don't think he was on really anybody's radar.
Not at all.
Coming into last year, and just like Spud said, I mean that's when I saw it is after that Miller playoff game, and it seemed like Miller wasn't ready for him either because he was always open and he's fast, and he's a basketball player. Right? Isn't that his first sport? Is he's a basketball guy.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, I mean, it's like y'all haven't missed a beat. Y'all picked up right where y'all left off in that Miller game, and we saw it. I think it was the second play of the game, where so maybe you can explain that to us. Maybe you can explain that to us, right? So it was a touchdown that wasn't, right?
Yeah.
So what happened there? Was it him throwing up the deuces? And before he crossed the goal line, is that what did it?
Yeah, I think if you do that before you cross the goal line, they actually bring it back. I didn't know that. I was confused as hell, honestly. I was like, what?
Remember
taking our touchdown back on the second play of the game, but yeah, apparently that was the case.
I didn't think that was a rule either. I thought that was a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff.
Yeah, the kickoff.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, right? If you get the flag before you cross the goal line, I mean,
I still think that's spotty, though. That might be a high school thing with personality issues, not like – because I don't think that's a thing in college or NFL for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of new rules actually this year, a few that I can think of. like just weird rules. Like for instance, uh, I think you can, even if you have linemen downfield, say you're throwing a screen pass, you don't even have to dump it at their feet. You can just throw it 50 yards into the stadium if you want, or in the bleachers.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, there's just little stuff like that.
The ground game looks pretty good this year so far. Um, with the running back by committee, you guys going back there, but it seems like Joseph's getting a lot of the carries back there right now, right?
Yeah, he's a fast dude. We've been working him in at running back a lot this year.
And you used to. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I'm hearing you're trying to get back in on defense, but that's not flying too well, is it?
Say it again.
I said I'm hearing that you're trying to politic your way into getting back on the defensive side of the ball as well, but I'm hearing that's not flying over too well with the coaching staff, right?
Oh no, I haven't really pushed to be on the D. I mean, I feel like I could play defense, but some special teams. I mean, I've tried to get back there at kick return sometimes, and they kick me out of there. I don't think it's me returning the ball, but.
What do you want to play on defense? Safety?
If I were to play defense, yeah, I'd probably say I played safety my freshman year a little bit.
I'm getting corrections here. It was punt return. Sorry, Jay. So yeah,
Oh,
it was on the punt return team.
wow.
Yeah, I knew it was something, man. So yeah, I guess we shouldn't be surprised if you manage to sneak on the field one day, and we see you return punt. We saw that with Andrew, and it was against Miller when he was on the kick
Yeah.
return team.
It was against
Or
Vets.
was it against Vets, right? Yeah.
It was against Rockport. It was the first time we
That's
saw
right.
him out there, and we've all thought to ourselves, "What's going on here?" And then against Vets, he was out there the whole game.
Yeah.
So a little shocking, but
Yeah. So let's look at let's talk about some of the numbers you've been putting up so far. Actually, let's go back to last year, your first year started. So how many games did you miss last year with the ankle sprain?
I want to say I missed 5. We had a bye week in there, so I got an extra week. So I'd say 5. Try to count them. Troy's, I don't know, somewhere in the range 4 to 5.
So in 9 games, you threw for 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and you ran for another 365 and 5 touchdowns. So that pretty good numbers. Considering you missed almost half the regular season, and for your first year starting. And this year, I mean, it's like I said, you've kind of picked up where you left off. So far, you've thrown for almost 600 yards, 593, 6 touchdowns, and you've run for another 197. And that's so you played up until the half last week, right? Against so you didn't get a whole lot of time there. I think you threw maybe 6 passes last week, and then against Miller, you didn't play the whole game in that one either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've. And that's good though. We can put up points on the board and get some of these younger guys. We have a sophomore quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. Get him in the game. Get him some varsity experience.
what do you? Obviously, you like to throw the ball, but I know deep down inside you like to at least run that ball every now and then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I can do some things with my feet too.
No doubt. I think
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that makes you super dangerous is the fact that you can do it with your feet. You're surprisingly fast for your size. Just looking at you from off the field, aspect. You don't. Well, if you haven't seen you play before, people probably sit there and think, "Oh, he's just a pocket passer," but you're deceptively quick once you take off, and that to me, that's probably one of the hardest things I think the defensive coordinators in y'all's district have to worry about is the fact that if they lock y'all up in the air, that you probably killed them for 200 on the ground with your feet. So that dual threat aspect is crucial.
Yeah, it's tough to defend.
Do you have any plays where you're automatically looking to run? They have that little wrinkle in there for you. If you see something in defense, it's like, okay, they let me have it, I'm going to take it, or
I think we have a few plays like that, a few designated quarterback runs, but I think we have plays for anything really. I think we have a pretty flexible offense. The guys on their team are able to do it pretty well.
Offensive line's done really good so far this year, haven't they?
Yeah, they've stepped up.
Dude, big time. Big time. And flipping the other side, that defensive line is playing, lights out as well.
Hmm.
And that's a couple games. Is Dalen back? Has he got back into the rotation yet since he took that trip to Fenway?
Yeah, I think he missed the Miller game and last week's game against East, but he's back in practice this week, so I think he's playing again.
Are y'all still doing school from home, or are y'all at the actual campus now?
I think it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
I don't know. I thought I'd prefer the actually going back, but now that I go back, I'm like the only dude in my first couple classes. Yeah, I don't probably stay home.
So what? So far, you've gotten one offer, right? And it was
Valpo?
Valpo, right?
Yeah. I have an offer from Valpo in Eastern New Mexico right now.
Oh, okay. See, I hadn't seen that one. So Eastern New Mexico, are they D2?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to go out to any of those schools last year and that, or anything like that, or was it just simply off of here you go, we're gonna throw you an offer and then meet you later?
I mean, because all the COVID stuff, I'm assuming I can't even go up there and visit. So yeah, it was just they called me on the phone, talked to me a little bit, and they've been in contact with me.
Well, good, man.
Do you have any favorites? If you can pick.
Hey, don't put him there. That's like almost telling us where he's gonna commit to, dude.
No, come on.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't really. I guess I'm just kind of focusing on the season right now. I don't worry about that as it progresses, I guess, or the deadline gets closer.
What about as a kid growing up? What was do you have any college teams, NFL teams you specifically root for, or are you just kind of all over the board?
Growing up, I was always an Aggie, but
he said growing up. He's
still growing up. Yeah,
ever since I got in high school, I've kind of been neutral to every school, really.
You kind of have to be, right?
I'm kind of more of a fan of the game rather than specific teams.
Yeah. So what is your ideal offense? What kind of offense would you like to play in? If that presents itself, and
probably just offense that runs the spread well. That's the only thing I've been doing my entire life. I don't think I've ever taken too many snaps under center. It's always been out of the shotgun, throw the ball a little bit. Yeah.
So your pops he's a military man. So I guess the service academies are out then, right? Because it's option left, option right. Yeah. So I guess those are out. So Air Force, sorry guys, you're gonna lose a good one there.
He fit well in a Dan Mullen offense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Dan Mullen would be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
What's your game days like? What's game day like for you? I know you have to have a little routine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have anything too extreme or unordinary. I just kind of wake up, do my day normally, and then get to the field. I think where mine differs a little bit is where a lot of people try to do things to focus, I guess, in their game or block everything out. But sometimes my nerves get to me so much, or I kind of do things that will distract me from it up until the time, like 30 minutes, an hour before the game, when I start getting focused. But yeah, most of the day I'm kind of distracting myself from the nerves, not really thinking about it a whole lot.
So let's rewind to last season, right? So your first varsity start. Anything out of the ordinary happened then? You finally okay, you know what? I'm going to start. Forget your helmet, forget your pads or anything, getting on the bus, anything like that? No stories like that?
No, I didn't, but after my actual first varsity start, I played a pretty good game, so I thought like, oh man, maybe I can do this. Yeah, I was nervous. I was like, I've never started quarterback. I actually started quarterback at the varsity level. But yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good game, and then it kind of sprung me a little bit.
So who to kind of piggyback on that and what Spud said, who's the most relaxed on y'all's team? Who's the jokester? You guys got any guys that just kind of whatever, kind of happy go lucky before a game?
I mean, yeah, we have a few guys. I mean, no one necessarily does anything super out of the ordinary. Everyone's kind of does their own thing. No one's super like joking around crazy, and they know a little bit better than to be that unfocused, I guess.
Yeah. We know a guy, former quarterback, that would just walk down the hallways and scream just to scream. You know, just kind of. I guess that was
He's an
his job.
athlete though.
Yeah, he's an kind of like you. You know,
Just
he's a
like
heck of an
Carter.
athlete, big guy, dual sport baseball player, football player. I think he played basketball just to foul guys. I don't think he
He
was
played
rugby.
until he fouled out.
Yeah, he played till he fouled out. He was that guy. But
Tennis in junior
kind of
high,
the same thing.
player in junior high.
What was that?
He was a tennis player in junior high.
Oh yeah, he was almost won
And
all
it
these
both did
tournaments and stuff.
all of
He's
it.
just kind of like, yeah, you know what? He's kind of like you, kind of say just
Captain
athletic.
America, dude. He's
Athletic.
Captain America.
Are you so kind of going off that? So any kind of thing, table tennis, bowling, or are you just naturally good at stuff?
Yeah, I've always thought I am. Like I've
Yeah.
always said I can kind of like any body maneuver. I'm pretty hand-eye coordinated. I can like look at somebody do something. Oh, I could probably do that. Like
So
I'm
you're
pretty
saying you
good
beat your dad at table tennis?
I can for sure. Yeah.
What about golf?
My mom. Oh
What
yeah.
about golf? What about golf?
Oh, golf. Actually, that's a little different.
Oh.
I've grown up around my dad and grandpa golfing. I've never really golfed all that much. And I've actually started picking up golfing a little bit more recently. I'll go out with my friends sometimes. I'm not too bad at it for a guy that didn't really grow up playing it, but
See,
not.
there it is. You hear it? There it is, right there.
What do you shoot like in the
I'm not
80s,
too
90s,
bad. Yeah.
80s, 90s?
Yeah, probably high 80s, 90s, man. Sometimes even more than that.
Not that bad for a
Yeah,
guy.
not that bad, right? For someone
You
who's
know,
never really
most
played.
people can't even break 100, pal.
Yeah, I'd say 80s is probably generous. Probably have not even scored broken 94.
Still pretty good for just a guy who's never picked it up really that much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a guy that just picks up a club every now and then. Hey, I'm gonna try this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else? You know what? So walk us through. So right now, with everything going on, the season and everything, you know, walk us through a day. You know, what is a day in the life of Carter Senterfitt like right now?
Honestly, right now my days are pretty uneventful. I mean, I usually wake up, get on my classes or my Zoom calls or whatever. I mean, on a day where we don't have practice in the morning, and then during lunch I'll go to my friend's house a little bit, hang out with them, come back, go to the rest of my classes, go to practice for about 3 hours probably, go home, eat. Sometimes my friends are doing something, I'll go hang out with them. If not, or if I'm too tired, do some homework, just go to bed. And that's just my usual weekday.
That brings up a point, or that brings up a question. So y'all have practice in the morning, right?
Yeah, on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
How does that work out with getting on for school? Like if you're doing school at home, and I mean, you can't just leave the practice field and get to your house. I mean, you might be able to, I don't know where you live, but you know, it might take you 30, 40 minutes to get there. By then the class should already be started. How do y'all work around stuff like that?
Well, our practices usually start pretty early and they end pretty early. I mean, we
Okay,
always
so
have time.
they give you some time before school.
We could probably go get breakfast or something if we wanted. Yeah, they give us time.
What time do y'all start practice in the morning?
6:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually not a super grueling practice, just kind of going over what we've been doing through the week, what we want to do.
What do you like to do for your free time?
I mean, I'm with my friends a lot. We hang out. I mean, I like to fish a lot and hunt when I can. Work out. I guess just the normal stuff like that.
You
Do you
afford
surf? I bet you surf. Do you surf?
No, I don't actually.
Oh,
I've done it a couple times.
that's a shock. I bet you're good at
That's
it, right? You
actually
stood up the first time.
no, that's one thing I cannot do. I'm not a great water sports guy.
Wow, that's surprising. Figured he'd be a kneeboarder or like a wakeboarder, right?
Or something, right? Something.
No, I've wakeboarded. I can do it, but not do it. You know what I mean?
There it is. There it is. So, you know, Spud kind of hit on it already, but I'm gonna hit on it a little more. So, if you look behind Justin there, right? So you've got your stats: GPA 4.0, your ACT score 26. You're a member of the National Honor Society. You know, what are your plans for the future? You know, what would you like to do? You know, you go to, because obviously that's another choice, right? Say you start getting more offers, right? And where obviously that's a big factor, right? What kind of programs do they have for what I want to do? And
Yeah, I think my ultimate goal is to own my own business eventually. However I do it, whatever I do, that's what I want to do. I just want to be the boss. I mean, yeah, I'm looking good business schools, stuff like that. Communications, kind of in that field.
so no, I guess
Being
kind
a
of kind of
boss isn't a bad thing, right?
yeah, and it's definitely not a bad thing. Uh, Kind of piggybacking again. I know I keep going back to it, but your dad's in the service. Is it something that's crossed your mind as well? Maybe.
Uh, Not really. I don't think I've ever really been too interested in. My older brother has. I mean, that's. I'm not saying it's something I wouldn't do, but I've never really. I figured I can go out and get a really good degree. I mean, who knows? Like sometime in the future it might. But yeah, my brother and my dad. That's kind of more of, I'd say, their route.
And your brother, he was a pretty good football player as well, right? He didn't play in Corpus, right?
Yeah, he played his junior and senior year at King, but
Oh, okay, that's right.
he was a really good track runner. Yeah, he was a fast guy.
How old's your brother?
Right now he's 23, or he's about to
Okay.
turn 23.
Yeah, it was a little bit before we started the show up, Jake.
Oh yeah, big time, dude. Yeah, way before that, he was already doing his thing by the time we started, and that's where your dad went, right? I think one of the things your dad said was he was on either one of the first or the last uh King football team that had a district championship.
Yeah, I think he played back in 93, 92.
Yeah, and he played went to Tech during the old Southwest Conference days, so
Mm.
that's pretty cool. Um, Spud, you got anything?
No, not really, man. Just what's something that for future, coaches, scouts, people who don't know Carter, like what's something you'd like to convey about yourself? What the type of kid you are, the type of worker you are. What's some of those key points of yourself you'd like to hit on?
I mean, I don't think a whole lot other than I've always considered myself a pretty good leader. I've never really been I've never been vulnerable to folding under pressure situations. I've always kind of able to keep my cool through stuff like that. I think for a quarterback, that's probably one of the most important things. So I pride myself on that.
One of the things that we saw last year, you missed those 4 5 weeks, and you came back for the Miller game. That was your first game back, and just like you said, you didn't. That was the biggest game. I mean, probably that Corpus has seen in a very long time, and just like you said, man, you walked in there and you played a game like you weren't
It was
gone for
huge.
4 weeks.
Yeah. I just feel like honestly, I can step on the field with anyone and compete.
What did you think about that? Obviously, the first game was huge, but that second game, man, that atmosphere, how awesome was that?
Yeah, that was awesome. I've never played a game like that in my life.
I was telling Jacob because he missed out on it. I said, man, that game could not have went any better for the
Yeah, right.
atmosphere. It was packed. It was a Saturday afternoon, which I love Saturday afternoon high school games. And it was about what do you say, like 50-degree weather,
It
probably.
wasn't hot. It wasn't hot. Yeah.
It's probably in the
I think it's
50s,
like
60s.
perfect, or maybe even warmer than that.
Yeah, but all I remember is it was nice and cool with just a little bit of mist every now and then
Mhm.
in the air, dude. That was
Yeah.
unbelievable experience. And to play in it must have been even cooler.
Mhm.
Was it hard to hear on the field? The plays?
Uh, I thought it was gonna be, but honestly, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. I think I'm like in the game, like everyone's so focused on being in the field, like it. Yeah, it's crazy.
I got my daughter sticking her arm in the
Plus,
in the screen. Yeah, get out of here.
plus, if you think about it, if you look at Buck Stadium, it's pretty kind of it's a little bit off the field, and it's such an open area too. That probably helps a little bit, I guess, when you
Yeah,
think
that's what
about
it
it.
is. It's pretty far from the track and all that.
Yeah, but no, that was a legit game. That was I don't think I've had a chance to ask anyone how they felt about that game playing in it. That's definitely one
Yeah,
of the
because
best
we've
atmospheres.
talked to the coaches. We hadn't really talked to the players about what the atmosphere was like.
Oh, it was unbelievable just being there on the side.
Yeah, it was a good time. Even like in pregame warm-ups and stuff like that, there's people filing in. And I was thinking, wow, I'm actually about to play this game.
So
Yeah.
now let's kind of flip that, right? So what's it like playing to a 50% capacity crowd now?
It's honestly not different at all, really. So I've never noticed the crowd during the game in any of my varsity games ever. So I mean, it's really not a whole lot different.
How was that Wagner game? How was it playing that team?
Yeah, I think that was a surprise to everyone. Just their physicality. I mean, obviously weren't really prepared for that.
When you stepped on the field with that team, was it noticeable right off the bat? Like, oh boy, we got ourselves a tall task here.
Yeah, but I think going into that game, we knew we had a chance to win the game. We just kind of made the right moves, did the right things. But yeah, I mean, just the way the game started, even early in the first quarter, just like, oh wow, yeah. I mean, we were not ready to play.
Those dudes they were next level though. I mean, that was
Yeah, they had some pretty good athletes on the team.
I mean, honestly, that Shadow Creek team immediately after them, that team was next level. You know,
Yeah.
obviously won state, but you know, if you really think about it, you lost to a Wagner team who lost the state title team. And Wagner team is a tough team to face, considering the fact they're a triple option team. You know,
Yeah.
I think you ought to have been matched up better against Shadow Creek than Wagner because the reason why Shadow Creek beat Wagner is they just had enough athletes to stop that run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Y'all just, I mean, there's no shame in that. There was no the athletic capabilities of both teams wasn't really 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, they just outmatched us. They had a lot more size than us too, and that's a big factor.
What'd you learn? What did you learn from that game and just tough breaks last year that you've worked on going into this year? I know you had to take something away from last year. Some of the lows.
Yeah, I don't ever want to lose like that again. That sucks.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I guess don't take my situations for granted. I never thought I've never been injured like that really in my entire life. So actually not being able to play, being out, being injured.
Yeah,
that was not fun.
My ankle sprain. That's 5 week recovery is pretty for an NFL player.
Yeah,
you know, I'm sitting there dealing with that with Michael Thomas right now in fantasy football, and I hate my life.
Yeah.
But what was that? I've never had a high ankle sprain. How was that? How'd it feel?
I mean, it's not like it's the worst pain in the world, honestly, but it's just annoying because it's like
it won't go away.
You can't walk on it. Yeah, it just won't go away. That's the best I can explain. It's just like a little annoyance.
I've always been curious because I know an ankle sprain sucks. It hurts every time you walk. I was just curious what the difference in that one, the high ankle was.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a low ankle sprain, so I don't really know. But I think a high ankle one is worse, I believe.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're running short on time, so we probably should ask this when we started, but so you guys we hit on it already. You guys are the number 10 ranked team in the state right now in 5A D1. You guys before the season started, you guys are projected right now by many outlets to take the region. You know, you guys and essentially what they're saying is you guys in Flower Bluff, right, could potentially y'all play each other in the regular season. November 16th, I think, is when it is, and then potentially if everything works out the way that these the experts say that it's going to work out, y'all potentially meet in the region finals. You know, coming in with a projection like that regardless if it's Flower Bluff or whoever, that you guys are the favorite to win Region 4. You know, how does that make y'all feel as a team? You know, what kind of does that add any pressure to the way y'all are playing? Do you feel like you have to force things to show people that, hey, you know what, we're worth this? Or is it just business as usual?
It's definitely just business as usual. I haven't really heard any talk at all this year of rankings or projections or anything. I think that's another really good thing about this team, that they know how not to get caught up on that stuff. I think I mean, over the last couple of years, all these guys that have been in the program, they've seen what it actually takes to make a playoff run, and that's not getting caught up in the rate. I mean, it's true. You can't really do that. You have to get better every single week.
How do you feel about this week's matchup?
I feel pretty good about it. We never played GP before, but yeah.
So I don't
Take it easy on my team, pal.
I don't know. I don't know if you know, Justin's a big GP homer. So,
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Clayton graduated there, man. Come on,
He's got the Link GP football tattooed on his back shoulder. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool you. This guy bleeds blue and red, and it's not the vets blue and red either.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I forgot we hadn't even looked at the schedule, man. We've been so busy with work the past few weeks. We hadn't even looked at the schedule, and we were like, oh wow, hey, look, Vets is playing Portland this year. I think GP's going to Cabinets, right? Y'all are playing at Cabinets on Friday. Yeah, so that game will be streamed. Should be streamed. Real Sports Live. CCISD game.
No, I'm not gonna say it. We'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely be watching. But
you got a nickname?
No, not really.
Dude, he's Captain America, dude.
Oh, okay. There we go. Hey, you know what, dude? I totally forgot. You know, but keep talking. I gotta pull something up real quick. All right,
what are you gonna pull up?
Just make some small talk real quick. All right, just hang on.
I don't know how to make small talk. Nah. Hey, what? I got a question. Since we're BSing, what led to the jersey number 2? What made you pick number 2?
So when I was probably about third grade, or around that time is when Johnny Manziel was a quarterback at A&M, and I was crazy Johnny Manziel fan. And I've always yeah. So if I was always the number 2 is available in any sport, I mean, usually wasn't honestly, and I would pick number 2. But my freshman year, some kid had picked number 2. I don't really care. I chose number 3, but yeah, I saw one of the number 2 guys was leaving. He's a senior going into my sophomore year, and I snatched it before anyone could.
There you go. Number 3 was actually his high school number, so that worked out for you. Yeah, I got some Manziel memorabilia. That's the reason why I cut my hair. I don't know if you've seen this with me prior, but I had a mullet and long hair for about a year because I got in a Manziel bet. Imagine that. Still making it.
A little bit of a mullet
after he's done.
Getting people in trouble. Still getting people in trouble, man.
Yeah, dude.
So, all right.
Did you have a visor last year when you played at all, Carter?
I've never played with a visor before.
That's surprising. That's one of the big trends.
Yeah, I know it is. I don't know. I've never done it, so I've no reason to start now.
You notice that some of the rando NFL players are pulling that off this year. Dak was one of them. Dalton the other day when you saw him come in had a visor for like 3 snaps. Nick Foles in his like Star Wars mask. I kind of like it. I tend to like it on skilled players and quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not so opposed to it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
What are you pulling up there, pal?
Yeah, I got it.
Got it.
Fine. It's taking forever to load. All right. So,
dude, you should just cut a mullet and just rock that mullet and let it just get dirty as the season continues, kind of like Gardner Minshew. Shave those sides, dude.
Yeah, we did that last year. Like 4 of us, we grew out mullets.
Is it up yet?
Oh my God, is that his dad?
No, this is him, dude. So I guess if if the football thing or the business thing doesn't work out, you can always get a career as a model.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so TSS, who's one of the local photographers out here that does a lot of sports photography and stuff, went ahead and shared this on their social media, right? So I mean, it's got this Captain America dreamy looking guy here.
Hey, Captain America.
Yeah. Look at that. Now, this is my favorite because I think he's thinking about us here. You know, knew he was coming on the show, and
those helmets, those new shut helmets that came out this year, those things are slick.
Yeah, they're nice.
Are they pretty comfortable?
Yeah, very, very comfortable. It's like a pillow.
They're some of the best looking helmets I think around so far. Starting to see a lot more college kids wear them and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's the best helmet I've ever worn.
Yeah. What do they call that thing? You know? Shut something?
The shut. I think it was called the shut.
The shut.
Yeah.
All right, Carter. Well, thank you for taking the
thank
time
you.
today. I know you're busy between your Zoom classes and your film, and you got a game in a couple days. So we appreciate you taking the time to,
But he's gonna
especially
take
such
it easy on.
last minute. What's that?
But he's gonna take it easy on.
Oh yeah, sure. I wouldn't expect another Statfield game because I figure he's going to get pulled at the half, but that's just my opinion.
Hey, take a break, Natalia.
But again, man, thanks. We appreciate you coming out, especially since I think we reached out on what, Tuesday, Monday, I think.
Yeah.
I think we reached out Monday. So, yeah, thanks for welcoming us back into the fold. Like I said, we've been off for the last
Thanks for
3
having me on.
weeks, not putting anything
Sure.
in. And I know we say this every time, and we've yet to do it, but we're definitely going to check in as the season goes on and follow up and see how you're doing and
Awesome, man.
see how the team's going. I know we've said that to everybody. We said that to the Cornerstone guys. Haven't checked in with them yet.
Yeah.
We sent that to the Orange Grove. We said that to the Orange Grove guys, and now Eulenfeld's leading the state in receiving right now.
Yeah.
Really?
With one less game than everybody else has played. Yeah, he's having a heck of a season. But yeah, we're definitely going to check in and we'll see how it goes, and hopefully you'll be willing to come back on, maybe bring some of the other guys on and
Oh, yeah, for sure.
kind of talk about how everything's going as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Bud,
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Best of luck and stay safe, for real.
Y'all too.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And again, we will not be broadcasting the game this weekend. Real Sports Live will, but we will not be doing any play-by-play. We'll be at work, so we'll be just like you guys. We'll be spectators this weekend. Expect us back next week for I don't know. I haven't even looked at the schedule yet, but it'll be something. One of the CCISD games.
So
Guys, Carter again. Thanks again. And
guys, game. You never know. Who do y'all play the following week?
I think we have Ray next week.
Oh, it could be at Buck. I think that's at Buck, right?
It might be. That might be our game.
Yeah, maybe. All right, man.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we'll see. Thanks again, guys. And you guys, everybody be safe, man. Thanks for tuning in.